The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.
Hello and welcome to a E3 2017 special edition of Video Games to the Max. I'm your host, Sean Garmer, and here with me are Wes Harrington.
Yo.
And Randy Isbelle.
Hey, what's going on?
And we are here to talk about the EA Play press conference that just ended pretty much about, I want to say 20 minutes ago. And once again, EA seems to not understand what a press conference is. And they, for the second year in a row, just kind of, I don't know, mess it all up here. I don't know what you want to call it, but...
It's one thing to say they messed it up, but the problem is they just didn't have a lot to show, and they tried to extend other things, I guess. I mean, listen, they showed sports, which we're all expecting, but I talked about it during the live stream. Story modes in sports are getting out of hand, and because that's all we see anymore when they're teasing them or showing them in these press conferences is just the story mode. It's like, yes, have a story mode on the side, that's fine, but when you're showing Madden and FIFA and NBA Live, and all three are just about the story mode. It's like, okay, come on. It's the same story every time.
Yeah, you start from the bottom and get to the top, to borrow a line from Drake. I mean, it's just, well, how can you really... Now, FIFA, I think, is adjusting it to, okay, well, you got to this far, how do you get to the next phase?
Mm-hmm. Which is fine, and that's great, but it's at least mix it up a little bit. Listen, you took NBA Live off for a while, you're bringing it back. Show me how you fixed your gameplay. Because that was the problem. The gameplay in NBA Live was terrible compared to 2K. So show us what you did to put yourself back on the level. Don't go, oh, we made a story mode and you can play on the playground and stuff. Let me see how your gameplay improved.
Yeah, certainly. And I think what's sort of more at least they did have a few new games to show, which that's positive. But I was sort of disappointed by the fact that that was it of the things to really get excited about, because they started off with showing the story mode for Madden, which, it is what it is. Then they went to what? Need for Speed?
Battlefield 1.
Battlefield 1?
Battlefield 1.
Right, which that was sort of a surprise. With showing the Battlefield DLC where they're expanding another area of World War I to include 8 multiplayer maps, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So
they've got eight new multiplayer maps coming. Basically, they're going to Russia. It's the It's the Will of the Tsar, isn't it? Is what they're calling it?
Yes.
In the name of the Tsar.
Yeah.
There we go.
Close enough.
Yes.
I mean, it's good that you're getting DLC for that game if you bought it. So, and I don't know if maybe people that had the season pass knew about it, but I think there's a lot of people that maybe saw that and go, "Oh, Battlefield 1 stuff. Interesting." And then they went to Need for Speed from here.
After Battlefield, it was FIFA.
Okay.
Oh yeah, with the men wearing blazers.
Yeah, with the men in blazers, which I guess they had some funny stuff on there. It's one of those where you just kind of block it out and you forget everything they just said. Ronaldo did motion capture. Well, go ahead.
Like, again, Sean and I are big sports guys, and we do the football to the Max podcast. Sean has his soccer one, but going out there in a video game press conference and having two guys go up there and make jokes about real life football things is never going to play well.
Especially to the LA audience, even if you have a lot of world people there, you're still,
No, but it's the same thing when they get to the NBA Live. If they have two guys come out there and talk about LeBron and Durant and like make jokes about the real life stuff, gamers aren't going to care.
Yeah, they don't. And you got to understand that. I mean, I will give them credit. They, other than Men in Blazers having to come out, I really wish they would just keep that stuff brief. Like, look, we get it. This is annual stuff. Show little clips of what's new in there that we're not really going to understand without reading a press release. And then, move on. I feel like they didn't have anything to show, so they had to waste 10 minutes or whatever it was with Men in Blazers because they had to pad it out.
Yes.
We don't have to go in order with this. So they show Need for Speed as well.
Yeah.
With a trailer. They try to tell you it's a demo. It's not. It looks like just all cutscene.
Yes.
It's Need for Speed. I mean, it looks cool. I guess the cars look nice.
Yeah, it looks like it's what Need for Speed needs to be, and a lot of action, a lot of crazy wrecks. It looks like a lot of cars coming after you, or you have to dodge. So it looks like it's Need for Speed just done right. So I have no problem with it.
Yeah, it almost feels like definitely some of the Fallout DNA is getting absorbed into Need for Speed because obviously EA bought out Criterion, and although Criterion's actually working on Battlefront II, but you can definitely tell some of that DNA is seeping into Need for Speed because some of the focus on the crashing and the slowdown and whatnot. It'll be a little interesting to see if they do damage modeling on your car because I brought it up during the live stream, but your car is sitting there causing all these other cars to blow up, and yet yours is completely unscratched the entire time. And it was just like, well, that's not interesting,
Yeah,
It's just going to be you pinballing into other cars with absolutely zero consequence because that just kind of feels off.
That takes you out of the moment when you're playing a racing game and nothing happens to your car.
Did they do a release date on that?
They didn't say it specifically on the conference, but I'm pretty sure it's been announced for November of this year, like November 10th or something like that.
If it's that close, it looks like they have a lot of work to do.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it gets delayed. So while I have it in front of me, the thing I think that was most impressive from this conference, unless you're a huge Star Wars fan and you want to sit there and watch 15 minutes of them playing multiplayer, is A Way Out. And it comes from the guys that made A Tale of Two Sons. Follows very much in that vein. Comes in early 2018. You play co-op with. It's encouraged for you to be in front, with a friend, but you can play online. It's split screen. You have two guys that get out of prison with, they're separate inmates, Leo and Vincent, and they do have individual stories progressing, but you have to build their relationship by playing and get them out of prison, and then I guess it goes on from there. Coming to PC, Xbox One, and PS4.
Yeah, there's a few things about this game that has me extremely hyped. For one, it's a co-op game. That's always great. Whether it's Portal 2 or Battle Block Theater or games that Wes and I have played, co-op is always great. It wants you to play on the couch. It doesn't force you to, but that's what I love about some of these indie games is because how many games over the last 5-6 years have went, oh, you can play co-op, but you can't play in the same house. I want to say Resident Evil 5, you could play co-op, but you could not be in the same room. You could not play on the same TV. It had to be 2 different setups, which made no sense. So I like that it's set up like that. But the main thing is it's co-op, but each character is completely different. So you have to work around how each character works and is able to solve those kind of puzzles and stuff. Because, again, if it's anything like Brothers, there's going to be a lot of puzzle solving in interesting ways. And I'm stoked about this game.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much it right there. It looks interesting. It's couch co-op, and it's from the Brothers devs, and that to me is basically all I need to hear. You know?
Yeah, I agree. That's kind of all. You know that they're gonna make great stuff. The gameplay looked really interesting and fun. I'm kind of interested to see how it's gonna work online if you don't have a person there. Will it work in that same vein as it works, with a person on the couch co-op side? That's going to be interesting. And then what happens once you get out of the prison, too?
Yeah, it seems like if you're playing online, it still will give you the split screen feel because you have to work together that way. That's what I took from.
Yeah, so that it feels sort of the same.
Yeah.
And by the way, the dev they had present that game was probably the most excited person of the entire thing.
Yeah, and
of course, because it's
awesome to see.
It's the EA Originals line. It's like the same people who made Unravel, even though that guy was very. That
dude was
obviously wasn't used to.
Yeah.
But he was excited to have his game there. He's just very.
Oh yeah.
That's the thing. It was a genuine excitement, unlike everyone else that was on that stage, and it was complete fake excitement, just trying to play it to the crowd, and you could just tell that he wanted to show off the game, but he couldn't help himself, which was awesome to see.
Yeah, he was so excited he lost his place in the speech at one point.
Yes,
and I even pointed it out. I was like, "Oh God, this is about to go off the rails if he doesn't take a breath and calm down."
Yeah, exactly. We did get to see Anthem, the new BioWare game, which apparently we're going to get to see tomorrow at the Xbox conference. Probably one of the things they're going to use to show off Scorpio.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I mentioned this during the predictions cast, but even though the look of it got me excited, a part of me is now starting to realize, wait, this is BioWare we're talking about. They've had a few missteps lately. Andromeda wasn't as good as it could have been, from what I've been hearing and seeing. And it'll be interesting to see if they can recover with Anthem. The concept looked interesting. Don't get me wrong, but they've got a bit of an uphill climb right now.
And it's not like we saw anything. Yeah, we'll see it all tomorrow.
Yeah, you saw a big giant thing, different areas, and that's sort of about it. The crux of this whole thing was mainly Star Wars Battlefront II and getting to see the multiplayer. They had a actress come on there and act like she's really excited for this game. And then, I don't know, they told you a bunch of stuff about the game. They hyped up the single player. You see multiplayer.
Yeah. That was the most baffling thing of this entire thing to me. They were very clear from the start that they were going to have 30 minutes of Battlefront 2 content. And then they started it off. They literally started 30 minutes off with the tweet from John Boyega saying, "Hey, is Battlefront 2 going to have single player?" And they referenced how everybody and their mother wanted to see single player in Battlefront 2. And then they went, "Oh, hey, here's the multiplayer for 20 minutes."
Yeah, and wait, I get
you
it.
You wanted us to talk about single player? Oh, wait, well, no, it's in there. Trust us. Trust us.
And Wes, you brought up the point when we were doing the live stream that maybe Sony gets the single player, but
that was actually Sean.
That Sean said it. But if that's the case, I think they did it backwards. I think if you're EA, you have to show the single player at that point. and then you can show the multiplayer at the Sony press conference and show something like that. And obviously not the 20-minute gameplay match that we watched live, but you can't go, oh, everyone want a single player. We're bringing a single player, and then not show the single player trailer there. It's a big misstep. The multiplayer looks great. It was tough to follow for somebody that doesn't play a lot of first-person shooters because there's a lot going on. I like that, you're in the air, you can get on different mechs or tanks, and so much is going on in these matches that it doesn't seem like it would get old quick because there's always something different to try, and obviously different maps will allow for different stuff. But it's just a misstep not to show single player there.
Yeah, I have a feeling that perhaps they show the Sony logo, so perhaps Sony's going to get the single player trailer. That's the only thing I can imagine, because you're going to show 20, 30 minutes of Battlefront and you're not going to show the single player trailer at all? I mean, my goodness. That's like, telling somebody how great something is, this section of whatever it is, and then you show them something else. That doesn't make any sense. EA, thank you for, I just like, look, the multiplayer looked cool. You got to see a bunch of, planes crashing into each other, and you got to see Darth Maul and all this stuff, and it's like, wow.
No Jar Jar. Disappointing.
Maybe he's DLC. They did say new free DLC. That's a plus.
That's still too much of a price to pay for Jar Jar Binks.
Boo. How dare you? How dare you say that? He will make that game great. That's pretty much it. And they just abruptly ended it too. I felt like he kind of signed off, but it felt weird. They just went right to the EA Play stuff.
Yeah.
And go play the mobile game, guys.
Yeah.
Woo. Yeah.
I don't think that was actually part of the conference. I think that was just the conference was over. Well, we'll just throw it to the mobile stuff.
Yeah. I don't know if we're rating these, but if we are, 2 out of 10 for me. For EA. It's not good.
Woo, yeah, that low? I think that's less than last year. Wow.
They showed one game. They showed a game.
1.5 games. Or 1 1/4 games. Or what? Yeah. Yeah, I'll say
literally
3.
The only 2 things.
I got to give him credit for the Battlefront multiplayer was actually good for a while. It just ran so long that it got boring to watch.
Yeah. Again, I think Battlefront will be fine. I play Madden. I like that. If I'm going to play a basketball game, it's 2K. And I know FIFA is a big thing. So I'm not going to get upset that they're showing it at their press conference when it's obviously their biggest
When you
game.
have Ronaldo doing motion capture, you're going to show that shit.
Yeah, I totally get it. But as a press conference as a whole, it was boring. It was drug out. They could have easily done this in an hour or less. And it was too much talking for me. And it was like just hyping for hype's sake instead of, okay, let's get to it. They said we had to get an hour and a half, so we're going to go an hour and a half, no matter what little we have to show. But the A Way Out game is the only game I'm super hyped for, but I can understand why others are hyped for some of the others they showed. But the press conference as a whole was boring.
I'll go ahead and give not that it's doing anything like totally crazy, but just since I did talk about this, they in the press release for the FIFA 18 for Switch, it's going to have Ultimate Team, the online and offline seasons, squad building challenges, career mode, and you're going to be able to play it in all 3 of the Switch modes, so that people don't have to worry about it. It's going to be doing 1080p when docked, 720 on handheld. There's new physical player rendering, and they are making it a big deal that they're promoting this as a portable, not a console. So they're saying the deepest portable experience ever. That should tell you a lot about what they're trying to do here.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So that it doesn't. And the game comes out September 29th. So there you go. I'm excited. I think it would be cool to be able to take that with you and play it with somebody else that has it, obviously. But you gotta also wonder if people will actually sacrifice getting it for their PS4s or Xbox Ones and get it on their Switches. You think you'll see that at all? Like people saying, maybe I don't care about the story mode, just give me FIFA 18 and...
Well, I mean, you can not do the story mode. I'm sure it's just one of the options you can do.
Well, I'm just saying story mode is one of the things that's not in the Switch version.
Yeah, it doesn't mean I'm going to buy the Switch version over the other one.
Well, that's what I was asking. Is like, you think anybody that maybe says, "Oh, I don't
No.
care about the story mode, I'll buy it on Switch instead, just to have the." No.
No, I don't think so.
No.
All right. Well, yeah. So you gave it a 2.
Yep.
Wes, what do you?
I mean, I'll be a bit more generous. I'll say 4, but that was a complete non-starter of a conference for me. Apart from a Way Out and maybe Anthem. We'll see how it looks at Microsoft's conference tomorrow. But the rest.
That's
of it
the
is
thing.
just
I can't even really count Anthem because you didn't get to really get anything for it.
Yeah, and it was just like, okay, Madden has a story mode now. Okay. Battlefront 1 is getting DLC, which, by the way, I just saw a tweet that's amazing. Somebody was like, I'm disappointed that Battlefield 1's new DLC is not called Star Wars. And I'm like, nice. It's just like, nice. But, yeah.
For that, I have to go down to 1 for 10. They missed up. But,
NBA Live, I just kind of like, I honestly can't believe they're even trying NBA Live again after they. When was the last NBA Live game that wasn't complete and utter garbage?
It's
a while ago.
Nintendo ones.
Wow! Wow!
It's a while ago at this point, and it's just like for them to have the brass balls to be like, not only are we going to actually have NBA Live 18 be a thing, but we're going to take all of the stuff that 2K's been doing, repackage it, and then try to have one of our main lines be follow no one. And it's just like, okay,
for
that's
NBA 1 or whatever it's called.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, sure, great, that's fantastic. And then Battlefront 2, like you said, Sean, looks interesting, but the fact that they again had the brass balls to go, we know you want to look at the single player, but here's 20 minutes of the multiplayer.
Yeah, and then because they had to hype a reason for the game changers to be there.
Yeah.
So,
oh God, don't get me started about the.
What a name for the. My God!
Like I said during the live stream, that is probably the worst terminology for that I've heard since influencers, and it's just like, oh Jesus Christ, ugh.
Yeah.
It just felt like a lot of useless fluff to me, and it was just like, this was not a good way to start out E3.
I think for what they did, like, that's why I can't give it a 2, is like, they did do things. I mean, like, are we going to complain that they actually did new stuff? I think they deserve massive points for making the DLC free, because they overcharged you out the ass for the first one. Okay, and there was a lot of people that bought it. So I think that is a very nice gesture on their part. They don't have to do that at all. Considering how everything is geared towards DLC now, games that really shouldn't even have DLC because it's basically a way to keep getting money out of your game and keep you from trading it in or whatever. I think NBA Live, they're trying something with it. as much as we're gonna rag on it, and it's probably gonna be every bit of inferior to 2K, like it's been for as rainy as the Super Nintendo, since it didn't have competition basically. And yeah, Need for Speed is there. I love The Way Out. We'll get to give final judgment tomorrow on Anthem, and yeah, I mean, at least they showed a new game. I'll give them props for that. I wonder what happened to the one they showed last year that we've seen nothing about, the Fee game. I don't know if that got dropped or what happened, but yeah, I'll give them a 4, like Wes. I think this is just it's not a great press conference. What they showed, if you like those games, I think they did those people justice, and that's fair. We just don't like a lot of what they showed personally, and that's kind of where it leaves it for us as a sour taste in your mouth, because it's like, man, a lot of the crap they showed, it's like, as gamers, as people that aren't, we love sports, but we're not, like, say, sports gamers, or totally into, like, all the stuff that's, like, all the bros play. We wanted more stuff that kind of appeals to us,
Yeah. I mean, even then, it was, some of it was just kind of like, even if I were into some of this stuff, I think I would have still been left with you have 90 minutes and this is what you're going with.
And the Battlefront multiplayer took too long.
Yeah.
Imagine if they would have actually gotten to Phase 3.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Ugh. Ugh. But
yeah,
it's hard, because I really wanted EA to show us something here, and they really didn't. I feel like EA needed to justify, because EA has their own thing now. They have EA Play. They are not actually technically at E3. And
yeah, because they didn't even show you the stuff that they fixed with NBA Live, like Randy said, because they wanted you to go to EA Play. It's like, okay, I get it. Y'all are going to show live streams of this, but for the people that may not sit there and watch all these live streams, you kind of want to give them a snippet of what's new.
Yeah.
But all right, I think that kind of covers everything from EA. We somehow stretched this into an almost 30-minute conversation. There really wasn't 30 minutes worth of stuff that happened on this conference, honestly. But we will be back for Microsoft, Xbox, with their Scorpio reveal and whatever else they show. We already know that they're going to show Anthem. So that's one plus that we get to be excited about for tomorrow. And until we are there talking about what happened at that Xbox E3 conference, and then way later at night, especially if we live on the East Coast. Basically, it'll be Sunday. It'll be Monday morning when we're talking to you on the East Coast, because that'll be when Bethesda's conference ends. We'll be doing that, and of course, Devolver Digital will also have theirs. Which, if it's too late, if like Devolver goes another hour after Bethesda, we might just do Devolver like before, sometime during the day before Ubisoft starts or something. Just all depends. But all right. So until tomorrow. Let us know what you thought about the EA conference, either in the comments below in the WTMNet.com post, or you can hit us up at WTMSean, at Randy Isbelle, at Backlog Busting. Let us know on Twitter. And, we'll see you later, guys.
All right.
The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.